Yeah, once again, very good morning, all. I wish you and your family members happy Toli Ekadashi festival celebrations. Hope you enjoy the day. Right. So before I move on with today's session, just like to recap of yesterday's session. So we have started with classes and objects. We got introduced with classes, defining object, then accessing class members, right? Then we have seen a sample program how to work with classes and objects. We work with single class. We can also work with multiple classes also. So in today's session, I'll just quickly take you over some syntax and other concepts which we have left over. Yeah. So this is the syllabus which we are going to cover as part of Unit 3, Part 1. Okay. So we have already seen yesterday's session what is class, what is object, okay, what is the difference already we have seen in Unit 1. Okay. So as discussed, like class is a blueprint or prototype which defines the variables, methods. Okay. Then in other words, a class can be thought as a user-defined data type and an object as a variable of that data type that can contain data and methods. So we have seen the differences also, like what is class, what is object, differences, all that. Okay, which is physical component. Then if you go with representation, when I was talking in Unit 1 about classes and objects concept, I was talking about UML, Unified Modeling Language Representation. Okay, and I had discussed like class consists of three partitions. First partition would be given for defining your class name, then followed by class attributes, then followed by class operations. Okay. In our terminologies, the variables and then methods, right? Okay. So if I take class called bike, I have variables by name kickstart, boolean start, button start, then gears. Then methods or operations onto class bike, accelerate, apply brake, change gear. Okay. So you want to slow down your vehicle, you apply brake. You want to increase the speed, okay, then you have to change the gear and then you have to again apply accelerator, right? Then object would also be of similar kind, but in terms of representation, you'll have a little bit variation, little bit change. You'll have colon in front. Okay. Yeah. You're assigning some fields to it. You're assigning values to it. Okay. Then thus we have also seen the syntax yesterday. We have already covered like how to write a class. Okay. So class is created using keyword called class. Then class body consists of class members, which includes fields or variables, and then methods or operations. So syntax, if you go, then this is how, okay, access modifier, then followed by class, then followed by class name, like public class, class name, or private class, class name, protected class, class name. As access modifier is optional, we most of the time we don't work on access modifier. Okay. But later on, when you go with inheritance concept, okay, interfaces, I'll try to use access modifier there. Okay, packages concept. There I'll try to introduce some access modifier because I have to give you the differences, okay, how it is going to vary when we go with different access modifiers. Then members of the class, fields and methods. Okay. So just recap of yesterday's session, guys. We have already done all this. Yeah, where we took yesterday, if you remember, we took class professor, if you remember. Okay. Yeah. So class CSE. Then fields declaration. When you go for the variable declaration type, then again access modifier followed by type, data type, then followed by the variable name, could be any valid Java identifier. Then if you want to initialize some value, you can give some initial value there itself. Okay. Then method declaration syntax. Access modifier, then followed by return type, okay, then followed by method name, then followed by list of parameters. Okay. So I gave small example here like int data type. Access modifier is optional again. Okay. So add marks is the method name. Then I have two parameters here of integer data type x and y, then followed by the method body, right? So covering all concepts together, class, objects, variable, method. So I have written a class called person. Then I have fields, two fields called name and age. Then I have method called talk and sleep method, right? Fine. So here class person has two variables and two methods. This class method is stored in JVM method area. Please understand, because we have not created objects yet. Okay. So in that case, what happens? This class method is stored in JVM's method area. When I was talking about JDK architecture, there I was talking about JRE, JVM, GIT. Okay. Then there we were talking about memory locations. Okay. Method area, heap area, stack area, registers, okay, program counters, so all that. So small example here, like if you go with the creating objects, okay, so I'll just copy here. Just a minute, guys. Okay, fine. So here I've written a class, then followed by main method. Then I'm going to create your object instance of that person class. Okay, just a minute. Of methods. Okay, fine. Okay, so where is my person class? Okay, I have written here my person class, right? Okay, so if you're going with multiple classes, this is how you do. Okay. So these are your fields, two fields. Okay, then you have two methods which we have given here. Okay, right, just a minute. Okay, then I've written, I'm taking multiple classes here. In this case, what happens? When I say p1.name and p1.age, okay, I have not initialized any value there. Okay, so as we have not initialized value, so it will occupy default values. Okay, based on what it is going to occupy default values, we'll let you know. Okay, we'll see. Java C example, not example. What is the program class name? Person underscore person example. Okay. Java. Sorry, just a minute. Yeah. I understand. System.out.println. Anything else? Okay, perfect. So we'll just have a question here. Okay, why this null zero? Any idea why null zero? Okay, we have got null for p1 dot name. What is this name? What type of attribute it is? Name is of what type of attributes? Yes, string type. Okay, then age is of integer type. Okay, yeah, fine. So this is the proof which it is taking. Okay, so let us put it on hold. Okay, what is the default value and how, on what basis it is occupying those default values? Okay. Then next, creating an object. Okay. So the class code along with method code is stored in method area of the JVM, as we have discussed in the previous sessions. Okay. So when an object is created, the memory is allocated on heap. Okay. After creation of object, immediately that will happen. So JVM produces a unique reference number for the object from the memory address of the object. Okay. So this also we have seen in terms of hash code number we have seen. Okay. So it is going to generate an object reference number, which usually we call it as an hash code value. Okay. So this hash code varies from type to type again. Okay. So default values which are given, yeah, this is the table. For byte, it is default value 0. For short, it is 0. Okay. For integer, it is 0. Okay. That's what we have got here as 0. Okay. Then for string or any object type, okay, it is null. As the first field was string type, we have got null. Then for long, 0L, then float 0.0F, okay, double, char, boolean. Okay. So this is how we are going to get those values. Just like that, we are not going to take 0 or null. So you have to understand this concept, hash code concept. Okay. Then moving on with object declaration, which we have done yesterday. So we do it by using new operator. Okay. So declaring of an object, just you are declaring an object. Student is a class name and obj is the reference name or object name or instance. Okay. Then instantiate the object. So obj equal to new student. Okay. If I combinedly do this together, so student obj equal to new student. This is how we are going to write in a single step process. Now, sir, accessing members of a class using dot operator. Yes, yesterday we have already accessed using dot operator with reference to variable, with reference to method name. Okay. So obj dot variable name equal to value, then obj dot method name followed by parameters list. Okay. Yeah. So this is how we are assigning some roll number. We are assigning some method attributes. Okay. So all this story has been covered yesterday, if you remember. I'll just show you that example for students who are absent. Already all this data is getting stored in your LMS. Yeah, this was the example. Okay, example is not. Okay, this is what we have seen yesterday. So this document is already shared with you. Yeah, this was the example, guys. Just a minute. Give me a minute. Yes, so this was the example which we have seen yesterday. Okay, so we have created professor's class, then followed by we have created three variables or attributes. Then we have we have defined one method. Okay, in that method we were displaying some details, right? Then we have created three instances, in the sense three objects we have created, P1, P2, and P3, right? Okay, so continuation to that is what we are discussing now, right? So we can create any number of objects and we can create any number of instance variables. You can create any number of methods also. Let me come to here, bring you this small statement. Okay. So objects, yesterday we have created three objects. Okay. We have created three instance variables. Okay. We have created one method. Okay. So we can write like void classes. Okay, which classes is going to handle void performance. Okay, or maybe you can also display salary details. You can calculate his salary. You can calculate the workload of professor. You can calculate the feedback of professor. Okay, so you can write different functionalities based on your requirement. Okay, so based on your project, the requirement is going to vary. Yeah. Yeah, this is one other way which I want to show you guys. Single object can have more than one references also. Okay. So like we have written class followed by object name equal to new operator followed by class name. Okay. So I can also write in this way. Student, okay, class name, okay, obj2 in the sense the other object, object2, okay, equal to object1. Okay. So it will again occupy the reference of obj1 is occupied to obj2 again. Okay. This is also valid, right? So this example we have seen just now. You'll get null and zero anyhow. Yeah, in this case, you can try with this example. Okay. Class employee. Okay, employe. Okay, fine. So what are you expecting output here? So we have two string variables here, but we have already initialized those values. Where's my Google Meet? Yeah. So what is the output you're expecting here, guys? I've created an instance, right? E1 object. Yeah. And then I'm accessing using object E1 dot employee ID, E1 dot employee name. So obviously, what output you're expecting? On wrong. Okay, just a minute. Anything else, guys? Okay, something else went wrong. Yeah, where is the error? Where is the error? Come on, can you identify the error? Yes, guys. Come on, I'm leaving it to you. Who is going to tell me? Okay. Okay. Class closed, sir. Class is already closed now. Okay. Fine. You don't get confused here. Okay. 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 Yeah. So string employee ID equal to, you mean to tell, is that? Okay.
Extra semicolons are there, sir.
Where extra semicolon? Okay. Yeah. And why it has not given us other than still accepting? Huh? Okay. So previous case we were getting default values because we have not initialized the values. Now here we have initialized the values. Okay. And memory point of view also you have to take some time in understanding what's happening there also. Okay. Yeah, multiple classes I'm leaving it to you. Okay. You can also work with multiple classes. You can calculate some addition of two numbers, some problem I've given here. Hope you will be able to do it, right? Can you do it, or you want me to trace this program also? Multiple classes. Okay, fine. Let me give an example of this also. So here we have a test class. Just a minute, let me save it. Which file name I have to save? With what name I have to save here? I have two classes. Which name I have to save here? Do I need to save using test.java or main.java? Very good, very good. Okay. Okay. Yes. The main method is in main.java. Okay. Right. So I have class test where I have declared three variables A, B, C. And I have also declared a method get data where I'll be taking the values of A and B. Then I'll be calculating, which is nothing but void add. Okay. Then I'll be displaying C value. Okay. So till here we have done our first class. Now from here it is our second class. Okay, so multiple classes. Right? So main method, then followed by I have created instance object of this test class, as I have to use this. Okay. Then reference name obj dot method get data. First I have to get the data. Okay. Then obj dot add. Right. Okay. Let's see. Name Java C main dot Java. M is capital there. Okay, not small m. So something went wrong. Okay, just a minute. It is with reference. Yeah, please understand in the Word document, so it is taking in that way. Oops. Here we are not giving values directly from object itself directly. It is taking those values 4 and 6. Later on, if you want, you can change this program by making use of scanner class. You can work it. You can give input at the runtime. Okay. So at the runtime itself, you have to give input by using scanner class. Then it will calculate and it will give you the result after performing addition. Okay. I think you have done one program in assignment, if I'm not wrong, using scanner class calculator, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all that. Yeah. Now we can work with multiple classes. Yeah. Yes, Yashwant. Yeah. So now let me move on to other concept like initializing the objects in Java. So what are possible ways of initializing objects? Okay. So there are three possible ways. One is by using reference variable. The other way is by method. The other way is by constructor. Okay. So we'll move on with the first type, like by using reference variable. Okay. Objects and class by using reference variable. So initializing object simply means storing data into object. Okay. You're storing some values into object. So the first way using reference type. So just now we have seen. Okay. So we are directly assigning values. Okay. Like s1 dot id. ID and name are attributes. S1 is the object name, okay, which I've created for a class called student. So s1 dot id, s1 dot name equal to, you are assigning directly, okay, using reference variables. Please understand this word, reference variables. Okay? So with this we have seen example. I don't think I have to execute it again. Okay. Now next is object and class using initializing through method. Okay. This also we have seen through method, just now we have seen. Okay. So through method also we can do, right? So here in method I have said insert record values, so roll number, okay, actual values, formal values. Okay. Then after creating instance, then here I will be passing the values. Okay, I'll execute this for you. So here what we have done, just a minute, let me save it. Test student. Test student 4. Okay. So I've written class student here, same story again. Okay. Then I took a method insert records, right? So I'm not directly assigning values here. Through object method call, I'll be assigning values. Then I want to display information of student roll number and name. Okay. So if you want, you can just add on here. Student details. Okay. Roll number and name. Right. Then we have written the main class. In that we have actually created two instances here, S1 and S2. Two students' details will be displayed. Then I'm calling first insert record method, where I'll be passing roll number and name. Then later on I'll be calling display information method. It will be displaying. Okay. So this is your second way of displaying through method, initializing through method. First thing, initializing through reference variables. Okay. Initializing through reference variable. Now it is initializing through method. Okay. Right. Student code.java. Perfect. I think I have not saved this. Yes. Okay. Fine. Second way. Coming to third way is initializing through constructor. Okay. Sir, what is constructor is a question now. Okay. You'll have constructor and destructor with reference to memory allocation in Java. Constructor, okay, name itself it is telling construct, okay, create, okay, destructor, destroy, okay, remove, okay. So constructor in the sense creating, okay, creation of object. Okay. So how do I know like I have a constructor in my program? Of course, again, if you go into constructor, you'll have a default constructor and parameterized constructor. Okay, if you don't write constructor also by default, your Java compiler is going to write a constructor for you. So how do I identify that it's a constructor? If the class name and the method name is same, then you can directly call it a constructor. How? Class name is person. Here it is method. Okay. Method. Okay. Method name is also same. Sir, what is the difference between normal method and constructor? Constructor will not have any return type, not even void. Okay. Whereas method by default it would be at least void. Okay. But constructor will not have any return type, not even void. Okay. So if class name and method name is same, then you can take it as a conclusion like it's a constructor. So through constructor also I can initialize the values. That is what I have done here. Okay. So name is age, name is RGKT, then age is 10 years. So it's been 10 years RGKT got established. Okay. Then I'm calling this method. Let's see. This is the third one. Okay. Third case. Where you can call your so demo.java. So here I've written class person. I have two instance variables. One is name and other is age. And I have a constructor here because my class name and method name is same. Okay. Then I have a method, normal method, okay, called talk. Okay. Then I've written my main class demo. Then I've written my main method. Then I've created instance of person class. Okay. Then I'm running it. Okay. It changes. Okay, guys. So Java C demo.java happened. Okay. Okay, you're getting what errors I'm solving. Okay. Have to observe. Okay. So three ways we have seen, guys. Good, Deepika. Good observation. So 3 ways we have seen. Okay, initializing through reference variables, initializing through method, initializing through constructor. Is that clear? Okay, so 3 combinations I have shown you. You can make use of any type of combination while you are going for initializing objects in Java. Is that okay? A lot of time people neglect this concepts. They just go with the basic type and they'll close the story. Okay? Yeah. Then next coming like creating multiple objects by one type only. Just now we have seen. Okay. So I'm not going to stress much on it. Just now I've shown you like rectangle R1 equal new rectangle. You can also write, R2 equal to new rectangle again directly. So this example I'm leaving it to you. Then methods in Java. So we have just now seen the syntax and we have worked with methods, but still. So a method represents a group of statements that performs a task. So task represents your processing of your data. Okay. So you have predefined methods. You have, again, you can also write your user-defined methods also. So method consists of 2 things again, method header and method body. So we have seen like what does method consist of? Method consists of course, the return type, then followed by the data type, then followed by method name and the list of parameters. Okay, then method body, where you'll be writing your business logic code under your method body. What statements you have to get executed. Okay, just now we have seen. Okay, you have written some method here, insert method, calculate method. Okay, you have written business logic code. Okay, right? So calculation, performance, initializing values. Okay. So method types, again, there would be different types. Method with no parameters and no return type, with parameters, with return type, without parameters, with return type, with parameters and without return type. Okay. So all this, don't leave this concepts. Okay. So I want you guys to try out with at least one example onto each. So I need 4 programs onto this. You can take student class, okay, or faculty class or whatever you require, and try to work out with 4 examples, right? So by this we'll be completing our first concept. Okay, I think till here we are fine now. Is everybody clear, guys? So whatever we have discussed till now was continuation of yesterday's session itself. I don't think students will have problem now. You must be able to do any kind of programs. We have seen almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 programs, 6 different examples, including yesterday's 7 examples. Okay. So you must be clear with class, object, variable, methods, initializing object through reference variable, through method, through object, then constructor. Okay. So all these concepts we are clear now. Okay. If you are fine, then we'll move on with the next concept. We have another 4 concepts left over. Can I continue? Shall I continue? Yes, guys. Can I proceed? Okay, fine. Thank you. So we'll move on with static keyword, which is very important concept in Java again. Static keyword. I want you all to please try out this all programs, okay? Because I am trying out, I am doing all these programs for your sake. Though I have done in the document, but still I have executed to make you understand. Just blindly we are not going, we are not moving on. Okay. So I also want you guys to try out all these programs and check different combinations. Is that clear, guys? Okay. Coming to static keyword, actually. Okay, here we have written static method, but static we can make use with different combinations. Static with respect to variable, static method, static block. I think we have already worked with static block and static variables, if I remember, in our previous sessions. But still, we'll go in detail. So static method is a method that doesn't act upon instance variables of a class. Then static method is declared by using static keyword. Then how the static methods are called using? We not create any instance of that. We need not create any object of that, right? So directly we can call as class name dot method name. Okay. So story is given here. The reason why static methods can't act on instance variables in that the JVM, Java Virtual Machine, first executes the static methods, only then it creates the objects. Okay. Since the objects are not available at the time of calling the static method, the instance variables are also not available. This we have seen when I was talking about public static void main. I was explaining you very clearly. Anyways, we'll go step by step. Static variable first we'll understand. So static variables in Java is available which belongs to class and initialized only once at the start of the execution. Okay. So here I have declared one variable which is of string type and this is of static variable. Okay. So it is a variable which belongs to the class and not to the object. So static variables are initialized first before the initialization of any other variables. Okay. A single copy to the shared is to be shared by all instances of a class, no multiple copies. And static variable can be accessed directly by the class name and does not need any object. I need not again call obj dot branch. No, directly I'll call person dot branch. Okay, so here we have two instance variables, then followed by I have one static variable. Of course, I have a constructor here. Okay, then I have a normal method called display method. Okay, yeah, then I have written my main method. Okay, understood, guys? So I'm not calling through object reference here. Directly when I say system.out.println roll number, name and branch, so it is going to display the details directly. Then coming to static method. Okay, so this again same story, like static method in Java is a method which belongs to class but not the object. Okay. So here method I have made it as static, public static, sorry, where is my method? Yeah, okay, static void access. I need not create instance of this test class and I need not call access method. Directly I can call using test.access. Test.access. Okay, clear? When I say test.access, test is a class name, access is a method name which is of static type. So directly system.out.println count, where count value is also static. Single copy, no multiple copies. So directly 10 is going to get displayed. The syntax you have to remember, guys. Class name dot method name. Okay, here class name dot variable name. Okay, clear? Then coming to static block. So which block is going to get execute first? Yeah. Very important objective question. So static block is a block of statement declared as static. JVM executes a static block on the highest priority basis. This means JVM first goes to the static block even before it looks for the main method in the program. Please understand. Okay. For your sake, I'll just trace out this program. We will understand. Test one. Test underscore static. Java. Right? Static block, guys. And you have your main method. Okay. Test underscore static. Test underscore static. Okay. System dot out dot println. Okay. So let's see which block is going to get executed. Will it execute main block or will it execute static block? Yes, which block it is going to execute, guys? Main block or static block? What is your output? What is your output? Come on. Our C test underscore static. Yes. You can type in the chat box which block. Oh my God, just a minute. Static keyword, not capital. So what output you're expecting? First static block or main block? Badrinath said static block. Okay. Still others. Which block it is going to get execute first? Yashwant static block. Okay. Gopi static block. Yes, perfectly. It is going to execute static block, then your main block. Okay. Understood how JVM is going to behave in this case? Okay. Though main block is important, but still, okay, JVM executes static block on highest priority basis. Is that clear, guys? Okay. Fine. We will stop it here. We will stop at static block. Okay. We have done with static variable, static method, and static block. So till here, I want you guys to work out. Okay. Then in next session, in tomorrow's session, we will try to complete constructors, this keyword, and then next thing of methods. Anyhow, we have done with command line arguments in the previous sessions. Okay. Is that clear, guys? So tomorrow's session, we can complete this under 3 concepts, but please understand from now, whatever concepts I'm going to deal are very much important. You have to precisely understand. You have to execute at any cost. You have to execute the code. You have to try with different combinations, and only then you will be perfect. Okay. Though I'm preparing material for your sake very beautifully, but still I am executing in front of you. I'm showing you the difference between each and every application, how it is behaving. You also have to try all these test cases and you have to come to a conclusion. Okay. As per the request received from students, as LMS is down due to the examination process which is happening. So once after I get the recorded video, I'll share it onto the YouTube channel. You can view your recorded session onto YouTube channel. Okay. So yesterday also, as per students' request, I have downloaded and I've shared it onto the YouTube channel. So all these videos will also be available onto the YouTube channel, guys. The students who miss out my sessions can go there and you can download or you can view it from there. Okay. I'll also share this material onto your WhatsApp group and also LMS. So based on your convenience, you can also execute the code. You can try with other different programs, right? So once again, thank you all. If you have any queries, you can mark in the chat box, else you can join the next session. Thank you all. Have a great day.